So where were the little silica pools roughly?
They're a little further along.
Okay.
Right above them, where one of the other a few years ago, they sent a couple unmanned submarines down to survey the lake. And that's how they discovered that they were still intact, just way down below.
Huh.
Before the eruption, this was actually two small lakes. There's one over there,
Yep.
Lake Rotomahana, which meant cold lake. And then over on the left, where the terraces were, was Lake Rotomahana, which means warm lake. But since the eruption, it sort of quadrupled in size and came up, you know, probably 3 times as tall. And now it's just one big warm lake, Lake Rotomahana.
Cool. The battery crooked on the one, so I swapped it out. It's still claiming it's like 15%, so it's like, that's just very weird.
That's super strange.
I was pretty sure I charged that one up completely, so. The end of the trip, I may be switching to the cell phone.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I should probably put that in airplane so it doesn't try to grab signal and drain a bunch of juice. Yeah, let's do.
Pretty good reception out here on the lake, actually.
Yeah, but I'm basically using it as a glorified camera, so anything I can save power on. It's one less thing I have to charge when I get back. All right, I'm drifting a bit. Like there's moss on the rocks almost, or I guess it's the algae. Sounds like the yeah, gonna give it some room.
These ones are alright. These ones don't erupt. You can be a little more relaxed.
Oh, okay.
Into the New Zealand Geological and Nuclear Sciences.
Yeah.
They come to these vents and they often put little monitors in there to have a bit of research.
Yeah, they're gonna be tough little monitors then for the heat and the steam and the rest.
Yeah, being incredibly acidic.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little snapshot into that, how the world must have began. Back when we were just volcanic soup.
So is this kind of a side gig for you, or is this like a regular thing?
Yeah, no, this is my full-time job. So I do tours in the day and lower tours in the night, and then supplement with other companies as well. So I'll do a lot of like teaching. I'll go work for schools, teach like outdoor ed programs.
Oh, cool.
Stuff. It's great. It's really fun.
I did chemistry teaching for a bit, and a little bit of algebra, but I didn't stick with that. Ninth grade kids just
Must be brutal.
yeah, they're out of middle school, but their brains are still in that hormone haze.
Yeah, it's like 13, 14 years old.
Something like that, yeah. So I went back to working in software, trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah, do you think you'll continue doing that?
Well, I've gone in and out of software, from testing and development to a little bit of systems engineering stuff and integration work. I mean, I've done a little bit of everything, and I keep going in and out of it, and it's never really quite fit. So
Okay.
that's why I keep leaving it to try something else.
Yeah.
The problem is that the something else typically doesn't work out. So I mean, there's a certain temptation to just kind of just bite the bullet and stick with it, but it's the same sort of shit my dad and my granddad and my brother all do, and something about sitting in a cubicle for 8 hours, 9 hours a day just never sat right. I had more fun those times doing like the summer summer science camp with the kids when I was trained to be a teacher, and you know,
That sounds way better.
I mean, just having more people interactions, getting out more in nature and all, but the problem is a lot of stuff like this just doesn't pay nearly as good. I mean, when I have enough to retire on, I pretty much have to do software or something that earns as much, and
Yeah.
I'm not big on taking up loans like my sister did with the with grad school to be a vet, and you know, some of my classmates in college went off and did stuff like law or pharmacy or medicine, and just the loans. It's like, I look at my uncle, got his PhD in chemistry. It took him like 10-20 years to pay off all the student loans.
Jeez.
Yeah, and you look at what back at the day when I was going off to college, you look at how much somebody was making on average. It's like 40% less than I made at my last job. You know, yeah, you get the loans and the PhD to make less money. So just economically, it doesn't really, some of it just doesn't make sense. But, I mean, if I hit the lottery, I mean, I could see doing something like this, or maybe look at archaeology. You know, go dig shit out of the ground. You know, not quite Indiana Jones, but now something about history and science and getting out there and being active just kind of has an appeal. But
That's a good combo.
I mean, I looked at it though, and it's like, yeah, you've got to, for something like archaeology, you'd have to be like a PhD, and then you'd be constantly fighting for money for grants and to be able to go to places and do stuff, and you know, a lot of sleeping in tents or really, really, really cheap hotels. And, you know, it's like, there's a certain amount of comfort from the software work I've got. I mean, I got a nice place to live at and all that, but it's so damn expensive.
Looking at more remote work, where you can kind of work from where you want?
Well, I mean, I did that for last year, and what I found out is that I'm not good by myself. I like having the everyday sort of shit where it's like you can go down the hallway and ask somebody a question, or you can you know, grab a couple of people from the office and go grab lunch and just, you know, feel like a normal human being for a couple hours a day instead of everyone being a voice on the phone.
Yeah. No, without that sort of in-person connection, you feel so isolated.
Well, I mean, I had you know, my dog got sick, and she passed back in June, and so right after I started the job, she basically got diagnosed with cancer, and I had to take care of her and her seizures for most of that job, and it just really wore on me being home all the time dealing with that.
I could imagine. That'd be really tough.
And it's not quite, not like with a person, you know, that'd be even rougher, but just